Okay. Today we are going to study about the various parts of the lathe machine. In our lathe machine, earlier in the olden days, they have designed this machine in such a way that it is analogous to the animal body. So basically the nomenclature of this tool, lathe machine, here we are having this part, this is completely headstock. As for the example, for a horse, you see that there is a head. Same way we are having this is a completely headstock assembly. And back side what we are having? Tail. Same way here we are having tail stock. And for going on the horse, we need something like a saddle or carriage. So for that point, this complete assembly, which is between the headstock and tail stock, it is known as a saddle or carriage. Fine. So if you see in the headstock assembly, first if you come to the headstock assembly, we will see that there are a number of gears present in the headstock assembly. Along with that, there is a spindle. There is a spindle. So in this spindle, we are having a hollow spindle. We are having a hollow spindle. So why it is hollow? So that if there is any long job, we can fix it between the tailstock and it can extend outside the machine also. So there is a hollow spindle. So basically this machine is run by electricity. So first we are having 3-phase induction motor, electric motor. From that motor, power is transmitted to belt through pulleys, arrangement of pulleys. From those pulleys again we are having a stepped pulley arrangement between the chuck spindle and the so one is on, here we are having stepped pulley arrangement, one is on the spindle and one is on the power driven wheel. So here we are having belts by which we are transmitting the power to the spindle with the help of this electric induction 3-phase motor. Okay. From this motor, finally we are providing power to the headstock assembly. The headstock assembly consists of a chuck plate and a 3-jaw chuck. If you see here 1, 2, 3. 3 jaws are present in order to firmly hold the workpiece. The workpiece which we are using is usually mild steel or any other soft material which is softer than the cutting tool. So this is about the headstock assembly. Along with that we are having this lead screw which is passing through the longitudinally throughout the lathe machine. So this is the headstock in which we are having gears, electric induction motor, belt assembly and chuck with chuck plate and a hollow spindle. Now coming to the tailstock assembly, in tailstock assembly we are having revolving center. If you want, we can have a dead center also, okay, depending on our requirement. So usually if there are long workpieces, we can fix the workpieces between the revolving center or dead center and a headstock. So here we are having a quill for which we can provide longitudinal movement. A quill of the tailstock, it can move forward and backward as per our requirement, and we can lock the quill. Now in order to move this forward, we have to apply some force over here in order to rotate this lever, and we can move the tailstock front and back along the lathe machine. And coming to the saddle, in the saddle or the carriage, it has an apron for the various controls inside the lathe machine. So here first we are having longitudinal traverse, cross traverse, and finally we are having an arrangement for applying very slowly feeding. We can lock this movement with the help of the given locks. Okay. So if you tighten this, it will be possible for you to lock the movement. Here we are having a small chip pan in order to hold the waste material chips or some other workpieces we can put in this chip pan. So this chip pan, it is usually for holding the chips. And this is our tool post, which is the main part of the saddle. So in the tool post, we are having 4-sided tool post. 4-sided means at a time we can mount 4 different tools. At a time we can mount 4 different tools depending on the various operations that we are having to do on the workpiece. So if you come down, we can see there is a rack. There is a rack. This rack, it will be fixed to the lathe bedways, and depending on our movement, the rack and the pinion gear will help in the movement of the saddle. Other than that, there is an apron. This apron will help us to do automatic surface finishing or automatic turning depending on the feed rod arrangement or the lead screw arrangement as we are engaging this arrangement. And down we can see there is completely cast iron lathe bed. This lathe bed, inside it we are having ribs. We are having ribs inside this, which are the cross members, in order to provide strength. These are the ribs in order to provide the strength to the casting of the bedway. These are the flame hardened bedways on which these tailstock and the saddle, they are moving smoothly. So with the help of this flame hardened bedways, we can ensure that there is smooth movement between the mating parts of the saddle as well as the tailstock. So this is how we are completely studying about the lathe machine. Basically, lathe machine is used for plane turning, taper turning, step turning, knurling, threading, facing, and many other operations. So the most essence of this lathe machine is we can only turn the axisymmetric components. That is, the components whichever we are turning on the lathe machine, they have to be symmetric about the central axis. Then only we can ensure that this is axisymmetric and cylindrical components can be worked on this lathe machine. Okay. Facing operation. With this help of this operation, we are making the circular face for the cylindrical workpiece. So at present we are having the diameter of this metal rod, we are having as 24.39. So after turning we will get lesser diameter. So we have to adjust the depth of cut on the tool. With the help of adjustment of the depth of cut, we will ensure that diameter is reduced. Fine. Now we can see the practical experiment for plane turning.
ప్రశ్న సార్ రాని ఒకటి తీసుకురా